Do you believe in pirates?
Yeah, who doesn't?
Some people.
I'm a pirate.
I would wish I was a pirate, but also I don't.
Oh, my dad was almost a pirate hunter.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
You seen Captain Phillips?
No.
Huh.
Is that the one with Tom Hanks?
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't he crash the plane or something?
That's not even close to what it's about.
Okay. Never mind.
It's on a boat.
Oh, he's on a
Pirate.
boat. Oh, he's not a pirate.
No, but he has to face off against pirates
Mm. My dad should have been in that
in a
movie.
duel, and then Tom Hanks pulls a sword out and stabs every pirate.
Stab, Forrest, stab. I'm pretty excited to have a guest on.
Yeah.
I have a solid lineup of people that I think would have good stories,
Be good
and
guesticles?
good insights,
They'd be good guesticles?
good guesticles. I think it'd be fun. It'd be interesting to see three people on this couch too.
Yeah, it would.
I
I should call her.
got him.
What's up, everybody?
Hello.
I'm fixing my mic.
I feel like this is the fastest we've gotten into a conversation.
Yeah.
Like we started recording
do it.
like a minute ago. and
Let's do it.
All right, cool.
You're wasting time. Let's go.
You know what we're gonna talk about today?
What?
Decisions.
What?
Decisions. How to make decisions. I feel like a lot of people today are paralyzed by analysis.
Mm,
Paralysis by analysis. There's too much information. There's
Did
too
you make
many
that
things
up?
to consider. No, it's a thing.
I like that.
So a lot of people, there's too much for them to consider, and then they make no decision. They're paralyzed by all the information.
Do you think that's because we live in this like society where everything's fast paced?
You know what the issue of starting really fast is? We're not done fiddling with the mics.
I'm never done fiddling with the mic.
Because of how fast paced the world is. I don't think so. I don't think it's fast paced. I think it's the amount of information we have access to. I think that
Endless amount of information.
endless amount of information, people relying on others for how to make decisions and what they should do. Like, oh, I don't know if I should do this or that. Like, what do you think? And then they can't make a decision for themselves.
Is that what you think is one of the main reasons people struggle with decision making?
I would say so.
I was thinking about this before too, and I was thinking about how sometimes that it helps a bit. Talking to
I think
somebody.
it helps. Well, okay, we'll get into that because I wrote that down as something I wanted to talk about. But I think it helps if you use these people and their ideas and perspectives in a resourceful way. I think a lot of people rely on other people's,
Like take it with a grain of salt kind of thing.
take it with a grain of salt, or just, oh, that's a great idea. Let me use that to supplement or complement what I'm already thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of those people who I would have to make a decision and I would not know what to do, and I couldn't make a decision until I asked 5 of my friends and I got all their opinions.
I
And then
remember
I would,
this with you.
yeah, and
We talked about it before.
this was, I don't know, maybe high school and maybe early period of university,
And
a little
when you
bit
moved in here too, no?
less so.
Oh, okay.
A little bit, yes. A little bit, yes.
I think with peer perspectives on what's going on, you can like say ask you for advice, and you gave me advice that is advice that you think strongly upon and that you think it's good advice, and that just like didn't sit right with me. That like guarantees that that's not what I want to do, or like
Yeah.
like it helps me solidify how I'm feeling because I'm like, that doesn't seem like the way I want to go.
Well, sometimes if you go to someone and say, "Hey, I have to choose between A or B. What do you think I should do?" And they say, "Oh, you should probably do A." You're like, "Oh,
Then you know to
kind of
go
want
with
to do B
B.
now." Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
maybe
You
I
ask
don't
your
know.
worst enemy which one he would choose, and then choose the opposite one.
I don't know if that's effective.
No,
Your
definitely
worst
not. Definitely
enemy,
not.
but yeah. Anyway, so we thought it'd be a good idea if we could go over what we do, practices that we use, helpful tips, perspectives on how we make decisions
Yeah.
to help you guys make decisions.
How do you make your decisions?
Me personally, it depends. I'm trying really hard to follow my gut and my intuition. It doesn't always work out. That's a lie. It does work out in the end for me pretty much all the time, but it's hard to kind of fully accept and like lead with what my gut feeling is because my head gets so caught up in, well, what about this? What about how people think of me? What are the ramifications, the consequences, the time invested, money, all this stuff, when my gut is just like, oh, it's this is the answer, but it's hard to trust that.
But sometimes your gut is like doesn't necessarily mean it's the right answer too, though, because your gut is still like it's your first instinct kind of thing, you know? Doesn't mean you have enough knowledge to have that gut strong.
I agree with that. It's like it's not that your gut knows everything, but I think that your gut will also never lie to you. Because your mind,
Because in the end, it's what you want to do.
yeah, usually
Yeah.
what people weigh is like the mind versus their gut. Their gut doesn't have well, what does my dad think of me? What is my family, my friends going to think of me, my reputation?
True,
It
true,
doesn't
true,
think
true,
about
true.
money. It's
Yeah,
just inside purely, this feels like the right answer. I can't
yeah.
explain it.
And as long as it feels like the right answer, you can't really be mad at yourself, you know?
I think if you feel as though it's the right answer, you wouldn't be mad because
Exactly.
you're eagerly like, yeah, I accept this is the right answer. And I
Hmm.
want to do this. This is my decision now.
And like if you went with it and it wasn't the right decision in the end, like at least you know with your gut you made like you satisfied that feeling in your own gut and went with that
Yeah,
instinct.
yeah.
Did this
We'll
happen
get
with you
into this
recently?
more because we're kind of already revealing some of our tips, I feel like. But yeah.
Anyways, okay. So,
Okay, so one thing that I do to help me come to a decision is if you're caught between A or B, or not even A or B. Sometimes it's just, do I do A or just not do anything? It's not always
true.
left or right. Sometimes it's, do I go left or do I go
It's kind of like a
straight
yes or
where I've
no
been going?
situation.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So one thing that I do, I worry, not I worry, but I think a lot about the negatives, right? Like it's kind of a pessimistic, skeptical view, and that's good because it'll prepare you for things that may come your way, challenges and difficulties and whatnot. But you can also get wrapped up in, oh, there's so many negatives and so many difficulties, like this is not worth it, or you might scare yourself out of it. What I like to do is I'll think of the worst possible scenario. So if I go
Well, that's
A,
scary.
well, what is the absolute worst possible scenario? It's usually not that bad.
Death.
Let's not put ourselves in danger. Let's talk in
It's
regards of
always
like
death.
career and like money. And maybe relationships could add to this too. Maybe not. Let's not talk about relationships. So let's talk about
That's a big
career.
one too, though.
It is, but I feel like that one's
More than just a gut feeling and more than just a head
it's a
thought.
little more complicated, I feel like,
When the
because
heart
now
gets
there's another
involved.
person's feelings involved. It's
True.
not just like monetary and like only affecting
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, yeah.
But usually if it's like, oh, do I take a jump? Do I take a leap of faith and try out this new job? Well, what's the worst possible scenario? You don't like it after a month and then you have to find a new job? Well, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
Sure, time invested, but now you learn something about yourself and it's okay, cool. I know I don't like that. Let's go back to what I was doing and continue thinking and looking for new opportunities and things that
What if
might be
there's
more
no turning
beneficial.
back?
Well, that's another point of mine. I guess I'll say it now. Nothing's permanent,
Yeah.
right? Like some things feel permanent and some things feel like the absolute worst possible scenario and it's like life changing or it's absolutely terrible, unbearable. But I mean, nothing's permanent. Like if I lost a job doing something, I could find one elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing this whole time. Or as you go from job to job, as every 2-3 years that you switch to a better job that fits your needs or has
I think
or has
people
more
are
money
scared.
opportunities,
I
right?
think people are scared to like say you want to leave your job currently and pursue a new job, and then you leave that job, and that job is no longer obtainable anymore. The one that you like were comfortable with, you enjoyed, you had a good time, and looking back at it, you're like, that was a really good job, but now you can't go back anymore. That's what people are probably scared of.
Okay, so what is the worst possible scenario in that case?
Can't get your job back.
Can't get a job or
No,
that
that
job?
job.
Okay, so you can get a job.
Yeah.
That's kind of my point. With
No, I get it.
with the
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, that's a
Still
risk you have to
scary.
take,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
We're
yeah.
not saying take stupid leaps of faith. Like you still have to do your research, prepare, make sure it's a smart, calculated risk.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff doesn't change. But when you think about the worst possible scenario, it kind of liberates you from, okay, well, the downside is actually not really that big of a downside. Like I can come back from this. I can bounce back from this.
Yeah. Like a financial investment that doesn't go well. Yeah.
uh,
So we definitely all been there. Yeah, like one thing is just yeah, don't look back. I think too. That's what I think. Don't look back.
don't look back in what sense?
Back on the fork in the road.
So make the decision
And then
and then
don't.
just be like, okay, cool, I've made
I'm
it.
with this decision, confidently stick with that decision that you've made. Because now if you make the decision, you might be thinking about what that other path could have been, you know?
So this is like a what if thing. Like don't do the what if game. Don't play that
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So don't look back on that fork in the road and just like you took that path, like that's the path you're going. There's only one way to go, you know? Get ready for the next fork.
How do you prevent yourself from playing the what if game though?
Just be in the moment.
Okay, how do you
And
be in the moment?
think about how to excel in that on that path you took versus what if could have been on another path, you know?
So kind of like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here. What's done is done. I've made my decision. If it's good or bad, I'm gonna have to roll with the punches and just figure it out.
Yeah,
And don't look back because that's gonna put me in an endless cycle, an
for
endless
sure.
loop of just like, oh, what if I could have done this better? Regret, hindsight's 2020 kind of thing.
Yeah, so see you took the fork in the road here at the start point and then it was like new job or stay at the old job. and then you took a new job. So you're going on the new job route, and then you can still take a turn back out to the old job if you like that one better. But you can't look back on the decision of what if. Just
Yeah, I
like
like
focus
that.
on what's next and how to. If you want to go back there, it's like a new path. It's not that old path. There's no point to look back, and you can't change that past.
Mm-hmm. I think kind of alongside what you just said about the don't play the what if game and don't look back, it's like own your mistakes.
Yeah.
If it is
If
a
it is a
mistake,
mistake, yeah.
yeah, if it is a mistake, own it. It's like, hey, I decided this. That's on me. I have to fix this
Hmm.
now. I think a lot of people would have a lot of. I think a lot of people would find that very resourceful because once you own up to your mistake, again, it's kind of liberating.
For sure.
I've made so. I That's actually one thing I've gotten better at over the past, let's just say 2-3 years, is just owning up to my mistakes very quickly and
Hmm.
very honestly. I made a mistake like, oh my god, bro, I forget. Our social media, we posted this video about robot workers replacing jobs, and we got into this huge discussion that wasn't even planned. So I was trying to explain that over long periods of time, like hundreds, maybe 100 years, people are going to be replaced by robots in with the workforce. Maybe not completely 100%, but a large portion of the workforce, low skill jobs, things that are easy to automate, they're all going to be replaced by robots. I don't see that. I don't think that's a very bold claim. I think that's very reasonable, but I didn't explain it the way that I just said it. I just said, "Oh, a plumber." And then that was the first job that came to mind, and everyone in the comments was like, "Yo, this guy's so dumb. This guy's a friggin' doofus. This and that, doesn't know shit." I was like, "Oh my god,
Big
okay."
doofus.
And I had to write in the comments clarification. I misspoke. Plumber was a very bad example. I wasn't planning to have this conversation or having to
So
prove this
prepare.
point. Yeah, so I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god. And then it like it just ate at me, and it's happened before with my own social media posts, and I was just like, oh, yeah, defending yourself and just trying to not be misunderstood. Honestly, that was the goal of it. I was just trying to convey this general principle that over time robots are going to automate a lot of different things. People just read it wrong, and it was misinterpreted. Granted, I didn't convey my message very well.
Yeah.
I totally forget where I was going with this. But owning your
Yeah,
mistakes.
owning
Yeah.
your
So
mistakes.
like immediately, as soon as I got this backlash, I was like, okay, guys, I made a mistake. I misspoke. This is not what I was trying to say. I hope you see what I am trying to say. And like that's it. I just had to let it go.
Yeah.
And people are still calling me an idiot and stuff. And it's just like, ugh. Like I
This morning?
not this morning, but just
Wake up, first thing on
sprinkled.
your phone. You're an
You're an
idiot.
idiot.
Ah.
You're an idiot.
Out the window.
Yeah. Someone throws a brick through my window. It's like got written on it. You're an idiot. My mom. Morning, Mark. You're an idiot. No, but just okay. Well, that's a different case of being misunderstood. But you just own up to it quickly, and then it's done.
I think like this
Because
is a good
what are people
example.
gonna do? It's like I made a mistake. Yes, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. This is what I should have said. Cool. And then what are they gonna say after that? Okay, well you're still an idiot. It's like, dude, I already said it. It's
Yeah.
my mistake. Like, what do you want from me now? Like, what do you want from
Yeah.
me? So, owning
It's
your mistakes
it's
is
like similar
big.
to like if someone had bad breath and you're just like, yo, you have bad breath. That's it. You just said it. You jumped the gun. You said it to this person, and now the situation from there on is better because they ate a piece of gum or something.
Okay, wait. What's the mistake? Saying they have bad breath or
Not
having
saying
bad breath?
it.
Oh.
Because now you're sitting there and like say you have bad breath, and I'm just like still sitting here with it. And I'm just like, wow, it's still really bad. I haven't said anything, Once you say it, there can be change made. Just like jumping the gun, like not jumping the gun. What's the word I'm looking for? Like pulling the trigger. Just like make your mistake, own it.
Yeah.
In my head, that was a better metaphor than it came out to be. But
I
whatever.
think I get it.
Okay.
What's another tip you have in making decisions?
Don't be scared.
It's so hard though.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to be
Scared about.
I think there's a lot of uncertainty, which leads to fear.
Failure.
So fear of failure and uncertainty.
Fear of disownment. Embowelment.
What is this, like the 1800s? Did they disembowel people in the 1800s?
Scared of getting stoned. Yeah, probably. Yeah, just don't be scared. What do you mean it's hard not to be scared? Definitely is at times.
I mean, I guess where I'm coming from is that, let's just say 20 to 30-year-olds in today's age have a lot of pressure to make something of themselves, to be financially secure and stable, to
For
have
sure.
a good life,
You're not going to go anywhere if you don't confidently go with it, So if you're scared to go with it, you're just postponing it further and further away,
like the decisions to be made,
Yeah.
postponing those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's a leaving your comfortable job for a new job, there's growth in a new job, Comfortable might not be stuck in a routine, but it's more routine like. New job is like you have to drive to a new place. It's a whole new world you're seeing, It's like be less scared. There's so much more to learn once you take like the scarier route,
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that would advocate for doing the thing that scares you the most.
For sure.
There's a saying, I think it's Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "Do the thing you fear, and fear will step out of the way."
Cool.
So it's like as soon as you do it, it's like, oh, that wasn't that scary, or like, okay, I've done it and I've overcome it. Now what? What's the next thing? It could happen again? Cool, I've done it once before. I've gone through this before.
There's a David Bowie quote where he talks about like being creative, and he's saying like you do things in your creative bubble, but once you step out of that bubble and like go even further is when you create the best stuff, you know? When you're like uncomfortable with what you're
Oh,
doing.
so stepping out of your comfort zone, like that
Yeah,
kind of
which
bubble.
is kind of the same, you know, like doing something that's scary, like, oh, I'm making this song and it's kind of it's not like I'm not used to this.
Yeah. Okay, I'm
Could
going
be
for
the best
the
stuff.
yeah. I'm going for the hat trick on quotes here. There's another quote.
I'm gonna go for the
Oh
four
fuck.
quote. Let's go.
I think it was Will Smith who said, "Everything that you want is outside of your comfort zone. Because if you had it, it'd be in your comfort zone already. Or if you're in your comfort zone, you already have it.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
like
I
you
like
have
that
to
one
you have
too.
to oh my god, quote unquote. There's a
Another one?
well, this is part of the same thing. So I won't
Will
I won't
Smith?
say it as number 4. I don't remember, but it's like get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Same thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That what you want is on the outside of your comfort zone. Okay,
Nice.
your turn. 4.
I don't know exactly how it is written, but it's like a man reaches his fate on the path trying to avoid it.
A man reaches his fate on the path trying to avoid it. Oh, that's kind of like the self-defeating prophecy,
Yeah, for
where it's
sure.
like you don't want this thing to happen, so you do things to prevent it,
And
and
then
in
the
doing so, it makes it happen.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quotes, man.
Quotes on quote. Well, that
They
was
they're in
4.
there.
We could do
If it's
probably
five,
more.
you had like a 4.5
Okay,
in
four and a
there.
half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Okay.
But yeah, just don't be scared. Take the leap. Like, don't avoid what you need to do, you know?
I
The
think that
decision you need to make. Like, don't avoid it.
I think that saying "Don't be scared" is easy to say, hard to do. So why don't we?
Another quote?
No, no. Why don't we try
Whoa.
to? Why don't we try to arm our listeners with something a little more tangible to allow them to really embody "Don't be scared."
Okay, how so?
So for one thing I could think of is, what are we scared of? Failure and
Sharks.
uncertainty and sharks and quicksand.
It's just sand. All sand. Are you actually scared of quicksand?
Every kid used to be when you were a child.
So are you?
I mean, I've never fell in a quicksand, so
Pit sand. It's definitely not as common as I thought it was gonna be. You know that? I think I've seen it online where it's like
yeah.
things aren't as common as what
Yeah.
they were when I
Like
thought they were.
your childhood fears don't really
Yeah,
ever happen.
no quicksand sand anywhere. When I say quicksand,
Yeah. It's hard to say.
pit sand.
Quicksand. Pit sand. A pit of quicksand.
That's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Is that a quote?
I don't think so.
It is now.
Okay, so people are scared of fear and uncertainty typically. Let's just group that as one big thing because I think that encapsulates a lot of things that people are scared of. So failure is one thing. I think people should I think it'd be trying to figure out how to say what I want to say. I think it'd be very resourceful for people to look at failure as a learning opportunity. Cliche, I know, but it truly is,
Definitely.
right? Because I've in the past year, I'm
You
sure we
failed a
both failed a
lot.
lot. I failed a lot, like on my hand, a couple big failures. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I did this, this, and that.
I thought you meant like cuts, and I saw the band-aid. I
That
was like,
too.
oh, that's
I
a
did
big
cut my
failure right
hand.
there.
Well, that's a failure. I was
Yeah.
cutting bread, and you don't think of bread knives as being sharp. So I'm like cutting the bread, and as I'm
Ooh.
cutting, so,
Cut the
like
schmeat
my
off?
friend says something, and I look over, and as I'm sawing, it just goes right through my thumb. Dude, it was bad. It was bleeding a lot. I was so mad, and I had to compete for cheer like 2 days later. I
Damn.
was like, this sucks.
Did you?
It's pretty much healed now.
Okay.
I'm just making sure, but yeah, I mean, all failure is a learning opportunity. I failed so many. I had a lot of big failures in the past year, 2 years, and each one of them, it's like cool. I've had a very verbal, explicit conversation in my head. This is what I learned. This is what I'm gonna do moving forward, and it feels really good. It's like, oh, I had to fail at all these different things to learn and to be a more effective, successful entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
human, just someone trying to do things. And you wouldn't learn all these things if you just want it easy peasy. Oh yeah, everything's perfect. You would never learn anything. You would I just keep flying by the seat of my pants and things keep going well. Like that's great.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Okay.
Flying by the seat of my pants.
But wait, what was your point right there?
All I'm saying is that
That's something I want to
failure
say.
is not as scary as it looks because everyone has failed at something, big failure at something.
Oh, that's what I
So
was
like,
gonna.
but you're alive and you're still moving
Yeah.
forward. You're still progressing. So it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. You learn from it and move on.
Yeah, so you got these two paths, and one is your gut is really calling you to do this one path. So you take that one path, and it's a failure. Like it wasn't the path you wanted. You're still gonna feel better that you took that jump than going with the safe route, the more thought out route. You know, if your gut really wants you to try this new job, and you try and you're like, this job sucks. Like I want the old one back. Like you're gonna, if you didn't take that jump and reach that failure of that job and have that path end, you would never be like satisfied.
So are you hitting on the uncertainty aspect of fear? Because I said failure, and I said uncertainty is another, and you're saying kind of like, oh, now I know what take going down this path looks like.
Yeah, that's both fail and fear. Fail? What did I say? Failure and fear.
And uncertainty. What I was proposing is that fear comes from failure and uncertainty. And I talked about
Fear comes from failure and uncertainty. Yes. But if you didn't take the jump to into the fear, you would never understand if it was. So my brain is mush these days, bro. I'm straight mushy
I'm
brain.
pretty sure I know what you're trying
Literally,
to say.
you're talking. I'm just like this. There's smooth brained in there. Yeah, just drooling. Not even that. I'm fully awake. Just like nothing going on in there. What are we talking about?
Why is there fear, and how to overcome fear from failure and certainty?
But that relates to what you said about like, what's the worst thing can happen?
Well, that's why I'm saying it's so applicable. It's like, okay, well, I'm uncertain about this option A or B. Well, what's the absolute worst thing that happens? You lose your job, find a new one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like you put in some time at this new job and now you quit, you wasted a month. Well, that sucks, but that's not that bad. You were still
Yeah.
making money in that month, I hope.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Even if you
hopefully you
weren't,
can,
like,
yeah, and hopefully you can um attain a new job in the time that it takes, or soon after the second job.
how do you make decisions? Like, what helps you?
Well, one thing I like to talk to my friends and ask them, what would you do in this situation? What do you think about this? I'm thinking of this. What do you think? And that's good because it gets you new perspective and new information which you may have not considered before, but I relied on it too heavily. So now, I'd say within the last year, I've been really trying to make my own decisions. And I would still go to people for advice or perspective, but I would say, I'm thinking of doing this, or like I'm going to do this. What do you think about how I should do this? Whatever there from there.
I think just speaking it out loud is so helpful
Mm-hmm.
because you can like think about it verbally and talk about it. There's many times I brought something up to you and I just like, even though I just said it and I didn't take your advice, like it just helped me saying it, you know, to make the decision that I want to make.
Yeah, you know what's really good too is writing out your situation or dilemma. Because a lot of times we'll be in our own heads, like conjuring up all these different possibilities, and you can't really keep track of them. If you write them down, like physically write them down, or just type them, I guess
Oh
it
yeah,
doesn't matter.
journaling is
You
so
can,
good.
yeah, you can get these thoughts out of your head and onto something physical so you can actually let go of it and like focus on
Move
something
on, yeah.
else and come back. And
If
you
you
say,
even
oh, it's
want
still
to.
there. Cool. Okay. Now let's expand on this idea. You don't have to remember, oh, what was that idea again? It's all
Hmm.
right there for you.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a good way to do it. Well, definitely when I'm in like a tough time or like a big trial in my life, like I'll journal all the time, you know? As of now, I don't because I'm not like as stressed as I've been before. But yeah, when I'm stressed, it's like all on paper.
Mhm. You know what else I think about too regarding your don't be scared, like just go full force into what you feel is the right decision to make is I think it's a good idea for people to be more decisive because being decisive and taking action is better than taking no action.
Yeah,
Because in the time, even if it's a failure, if you make that failure sooner, you're going to learn sooner. You're
yeah,
going to learn more
very
about
true.
yourself, about the world, about your working life, or whatever it is that you're deciding on. You're going to learn more in that time versus just postponing and not doing anything. And you're kind of stuck in this limbo and nothing happens in limbo. So you're kind of you're stagnant. At least if you push towards, your unintended failure, it's like, cool, I learned. Let's move on to something
Yeah,
else. Let's be better.
I struggle with that too. I think think it's big with procrastination. You know, like the reason that I procrastinate is because I'm like don't want to make the decision to do or not to do. You know, so I push it back or like to have to reach that fork in the road. I just like procrastinate. It's like I don't have to reach that fork until I get there. Don't have to do it today. You know, so
Hmm.
that leads it to what you're saying right there. Where it's like just jump in it, get it over with. If it's a failure, unpredicted, that's fine.
Yeah, I
At least
think
you know.
another tip that I wanted to say, but I decided not to because I didn't think it was that applicable, was to set timelines on to make the decision.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but sometimes it adds more stress.
Well, here's where I was going with it, but I wasn't sure that it was strong enough of a point. say you have to make a decision. You're like, okay, I'm going to give myself a week to think of this. In that week, exhaust all possibilities, research, things you can do. Like literally go as hard as you can, get all the information you can, so that by the end of that week, it's like I can't even think of any other possibilities. I have it all out in front of me now. Now I'm able to make a decision because I have more information, more like I can make better decisions with the information that I have.
Nice. Yeah, I think that helps a lot. Definitely thinking it through and making it less black or white, you know?
Yeah.
Like having more fluidity to it and like understanding what's really going on and what this decision doesn't have to be that only decision, you know? Like it's the ways to make other things work around it, or for example, you know?
Yeah, the only reason why I'm still kind of hesitant to say it as like a strong point is because even if you have a lot of information or all the information, it's still hard to
It
make a
might
decision.
muddy up your brain even more.
Yeah, so that's why I
A
think,
mush brain like me.
thinking of the worst possible situation or jumping into fear or thinking that nothing's permanent, that helps a little. That's a little more, I can do something with this versus just, okay, now I have more information, which you can do things with, but it doesn't always make it easier,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sometimes, again, that can lead to paralysis by analysis. So I was kind of hesitant to say it, but I mean, it
It's a
works
good
for some
point.
people.
It's a good point. Yeah, yeah. But
Some
at the same
people,
time,
yeah.
yeah, sometimes people don't want that time. Sometimes like they make better decisions if they just go with their gut right off the rip, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm playing with that
I don't
there.
know. It started pulling on my ear, and I was like,
You start
I'm,
smiling, I was
I'm
like,
just
this
gonna
is
let you
getting
do your
weird.
thing.
It's like I'm just like playing with your hands slowly. Setting timelines could be bad because then you add pressure on when you need to get this done by. You need to think about the answer by the end of the week.
And you know what
What if
too?
you can't do it by the end of the week? Like, what if you still need more time? Or like,
Yeah, that's why it's kind of like it's probably not that
it's a
useful to
good.
say.
It could work for some people, and I'm sure it does
Mhm.
work for some people, but not everybody.
There's also that advice that says
A quote?
if someone's rushed, it's more just general advice, but if you're rushed to make a decision, then you should not be making that decision.
You think?
You should not feel rushed in making your decisions because you should feel strongly about what it is you're going to do.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Sometimes, but again, like
Sometimes you don't have the
sometimes you
choice.
have to rush.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's, I guess that leads into taking that leap of faith and just trusting yourself.
jumping in the water.
I have one more point that I really like before I move on to my last easy point, and then something cool that I wanted to say is that I worry about making the right decision. I think a more resourceful line of thinking is I have to make a decision, and whatever I choose, I have to make my decision right.
Yeah,
So you don't always make the right decision, but you can make your decisions right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like turn it around.
Yeah. So it's again like with failure. Oh shoot, I made this decision and it led to failure and I lost some money and I spent a little bit of time investing to this and it didn't work out. That's fine. I'm better off. Let's learn from it. Let's be better moving forward and
Yeah,
make better
and use
decisions.
that to fuel you further on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One thing I do for decision making is like I'll plan ahead, sort of say like if I need to decide what I need to do with my day, like I'll write it a day or two before, just so like when I'm in the moment, it's just I already know what's happening or like I already know what needs to be done. Does that make sense?
So like pre-deciding things you will have to face.
Yeah, because if I were to leave it to last minute, maybe the decision won't be made proper or like well enough. It's like the thing like giving yourself time and knowing when that decision is going to be made.
Can you give me an example of that?
I'll give you like a minute example. Like say like I'm planning what I'm gonna eat tomorrow. Like what kind of work I'm gonna do tomorrow.
Oh,
Like rather than like
oh, I see
sitting
what
at
you're
my desk and
saying.
like what fucking work am I doing? There's so many decisions to make. Like I'm just like, okay, tomorrow I'm doing this one. Or
It's
like
like the Steve Jobs thing where he wears the same outfit every day so that he doesn't have to think about getting dressed. He
hell
can
yeah.
just put all his effort into making
Even planning your outfit
apples.
for the next day, you know? Like
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, I'm about to be late for work and I'm like, this shirt, these pants are these pants. And it's just like if it's all planned ahead, when I have the time to think and like sit with the thoughts and not be rushed, it makes better decisions, you know? You like that one? Nice. You said you had another point you want to talk about.
Yeah, another quick one is just go for a walk.
Hmm.
Yeah, a lot of like I went for a walk last night and I just wanted to clear my mind. I wasn't even thinking about I need to think on this situation. I was like I just want to go for a walk and just kind of recenter myself. And
Do you listen to music?
I usually do, but for this one I purposely chose not to. For like the first time ever, I had no music. It was just me by myself. And without even trying, solutions to what I was thinking about prior to just came to my head. I was like, "Oh my God, I could do this. Oh, I could do this. Here's a solution for that."
What do
And it
you
was just, I think there's something very therapeutic about walking because it's cyclical. So you kind of just get into a repetitive motion. You can kind of just like jog your brain a little bit in terms of like blood flow. And that's, I guess, the second point is it gets your blood flow going. It gets you kind of your body is primed and energized to think or to make decisions, let's just say, or to just be alive and think properly. And it also just kind of gets you away from your setting. You know, you're outside, you can look around, you can get inspiration from
True.
houses, trees, nature. It doesn't matter. It just kind of takes you out of that rut of like sitting at a desk and just I'm stuck. Okay, we'll go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it helped me a lot more than I was intending it to.
Just like putting time aside to think and to actually like digest what decisions need to be made is very important. Walking, yeah, but even if you don't have time to walk, like just like 10 minutes before bed, just like, okay, this is what I need to think about. Like, I need to think about this right now, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I personally find that depending on what it is, if it's a really big decision, I don't always have the best success just like sitting down and being like, okay, I have to decide. That's why I would use something like walking. But I know other people that do just like sit down and like, hey, I'm just gonna sit here for 30 minutes and just think about this
Yeah,
thing,
that's what I do too.
and it
So
works for
I
them.
think walking helps like push it along
I think yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Because it's not an exercise. It's not something you're doing where it's like it requires any thought, you know?
Nope.
Like say I want to like clean my room and like think it's like harder to do because I'm like thinking about cleaning my room and like what I need to put things, you know? Like walking is just like you said, cyclical. Just go. Just in your nature
Yeah.
to think.
Do you have any other points before I say my last big one?
Oh yeah, I have this one. I don't know where I heard it. Probably online somewhere, but it was like I think I might even talked about it on here before. But it's like just give something 5 minutes. You know, like if jump in it to make the decision. If you don't like it after 5 minutes, like obviously this is on minute things, but like give it 5 minutes. If you don't like it, like then stop doing it. You know, obviously you can't do it in like a relationship or like a job, but on like something small, like oh I wanted to play tennis today, but I don't know if I should or if I want to. Just go for 5 minutes. If you like it, do it. If not, okay, next decision. You know, what's next?
You could also, I guess you're saying, decide and start doing the thing.
If it doesn't feel right,
Yeah,
then reevaluate. Then
yeah.
like just start and give it 5 minutes.
I think that's smart too because you could even say, "Do I play tennis or not?" You say, "Okay, screw it, I'm gonna play tennis." And then as you're getting ready, within that 5 minutes before you even head out the door, it's like, "Oh, am I really amped up to go play tennis?" Like, not really. Like you could use that kind of
Yeah,
reflection time too.
yeah, exactly. Like it's the moments before kind of thing. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's cool. What's your other point?
My last point is from Dr. Edward DeBono or DeBono. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He is I don't even know. He's a scientist, probably doctor, and he came up with this concept of the 6 hats you can wear when addressing a problem. Basically, what he'll say is, when you're addressing a problem, wear a white hat, and a white hat is your information gathering
What
mode.
kind of hat? I'm thinking like a
I was
wizard's
thinking a
hat.
wizard's hat.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
nice. I was thinking baseball, and I was like, that's not right. The baseball cap wouldn't be right.
Yeah, so wear your white wizard's cap and just gather as much information as you can about about your situation, and that'll put you in a better place to make a decision. Then he'll say wear the yellow hat, and that's your optimistic thinking hat. So think of all the positives, the inherent value of making decision A or B, all the good things about it. Then wear a black hat, and that's the opposite, where you want to think of all the difficulties, the challenges, the consequences of failing to make a decision by a certain amount of time. Think of that side of things. Then he says, now put on your red hat. This is your emotional thinking. So your fears, what you're excited for, what you're like really amped up to do, enthusiastic, whatever it is that you're feeling, take that into account regarding the situation. Then he says wear the green hat, which is your creative mode. And this is where you look at your situation and try to address it from different viewpoints you haven't considered before. So a little harder to do,
That's
but
a
you
hard
have to
one.
get creative and just say, okay, well, what if I didn't have a timeline to decide? Or what if this was forever? Or what if this wasn't forever? Whatever it is you have to think about, just be a little more creative. Don't be so, well, I'm this person and I'm this way, so I'm going to address it this way. And then you have the blue hat, which is kind of the all-encompassing, does this line up with my overall goals? And do all my hats, do they all end up in a place where this makes sense to take that decision or makes that decision? Some people will start with the blue, go through the rest of the hats, and come back to the blue. And this would be, I guess, like an exercise, like a mental exercise or tool that you can use to address your decision making or problem from a bunch of different angles. And it's just an all encompassing, I've pretty much thought of almost everything And if I haven't come to a decision by now, then like you have another problem.
Nice. Have you tried this before?
I haven't. I don't usually take this long or dwell that long on problems. Sorry, problems are different from decisions. So problems I don't dwell on almost at all. Decisions I will
Problems you
dwell
don't
on.
dwell on.
No, no.
Like what
Problems
problems?
are like failures. What did I learn? Move on.
Mm.
No time wasted being sad. I was sad for 5-10 minutes and that's it. But I've never had to make a decision in the recent, let's just say 5 years, that I was like, okay, I feel paralyzed. I've always come to a decision
But are you
within.
saying that because you're looking back at it? Like, what if in the moment you felt that way?
I probably did in the moment, but there's none that I haven't acted on by, within a month of thinking about it. And obviously a month could be a long time. Some people don't have that amount of time, but I guess I was just fortunate enough to have the time to think about it and really feel good about the decisions I was making.
Like the saying, will I think about this in 5 minutes? Will I think about this in 5 hours? Will I think about this in 5 years? Or like, how will it affect me in those times, you know? The
Mm-hmm.
decision.
Yeah. How will I feel about this? What was it? 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big one, though, because it could be a big decision.
Or is it like, if will I feel bad about this in 5 years? If
Feel
not,
bad?
don't feel bad about it in 5 minutes.
Oh, maybe it's that. Yeah. They both work.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we should probably call it there 5:20.
Yeah. I kind of want to talk about like regular stuff too, though.
Okay, what's up? You're looking like when I look away for a second, I thought you looked like Caillou.
That's so random. Okay.
Why? Caillou? Because like he's got the yellow and he's got the stripe.
True. Yeah.
But it also usually has one stripe.
One stripe.
Doesn't Caillou have many stripes?
I think he has one. I always hated Caillou. I hated him so much.
Why? So mean?
He would just make all these dumb decisions.
Wow.
And then he would have to learn from them. And I was like, you idiot. Because when I was watching, I was like, I wouldn't have done that. Same with like
A
Arthur.
horror movie
I
too,
did
though.
not like Arthur or DW. I thought they were both very, very silly.
What's what kids shows are about? They like teach you lessons.
I know, that's
like
the
they
point.
make the wrong
That's
decision.
the point, is to make a mistake and learn from it.
These stupid ass kids.
But when I was a kid, I was like, I know exactly what I would do here. You're dumb. And I just hated watching them make mistakes and like feel uncomfortable.
Those shows make like mistakes or like the decisions and mistakes like so obvious.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Yeah, so it's like you obviously can see that, but in real life it's like not so easy to
Yeah.
make a decision or to figure out what's right or wrong.
Yeah.
What else is up you want to talk about?
I don't know.
You said you want to talk about life.
I know.
So what's up?
Just been really busy.
Yeah. How busy? I feel like I haven't seen you.
Busy enough that over the past 2 weeks, I only remember doing two things: working and cheer.
Really? Like every day you're doing one of those two things?
Yeah.
How?
Because,
For 2 weeks?
yeah, because cheer got locked down because of COVID. So then when we got back into the gym, our coach was like, hey guys, we've missed out on 2 weeks. Let's ramp up more practices per week. So it went from 2 to 4 practices a week.
But isn't a practice just an evening time?
It is.
What are you doing during the morning?
Working on the podcast, working on at work. It's just been busy. So like it's been very time consuming. It's been very mentally and physically taxing. And then when I'm not there, I'm working, and sometimes I have like early mornings and I don't get a lot of sleep. So it's just been a lot of just nonstop.
And just like mushy brain.
A little bit of mushy brain.
What do you do when you have mush brain?
Sleep.
Really?
Yeah, dude, the biggest determiner of how I feel, my energy, how effective of an athlete or thinker I can be is highly dependent on my sleep.
My brain is so mushy.
Personally, I find sleep is like the end all be all.
For mushy brain?
Anything.
Dude, I've been mushy brain hard. So for some reason, like this past month, yeah. It's just like my sleeps, I've been sleeping. Sometimes I sleep 6, sometimes I sleep 8, sometimes I even sleep 10 hours. I'm waking up fucked.
Really?
Just like mad, yeah, just mad mush.
I feel like, I mean, you're doing a lot of work.
I'm not that much these days.
Oh,
I've done shit these days.
Mind?
Just Elden Ring. Past like
Elden Ring is turning your brain into mush. Our parents were right.
Don't get that Elden Ring. That's what my dad says. Make your brain mush.
Don't you get that Elden Ring?
You'll make your brain mushy. No, it's not even video games. I don't know what it is, man. I think maybe the weather in this basement. Just like waking
came
up.
on that walk with me.
Yeah.
I invited him to go for a walk and he said no.
I was playing video games and then I played Elden Ring.
It was a really nice walk.
Yeah, I should do that more often.
Next time.
But I don't even know if that would fix it. Like, I don't know what it is, man. I just like sleep and I wake up just like so tired. Like exhausted. I can't even open my eyes.
Video games, TVs, screens will emit blue light,
Yeah.
which simulates daytime, so it messes with your circadian rhythm. So like you're trying to go to bed, but your brain's like, I shouldn't be
No, it's
asleep.
not like I don't fall asleep though.
But
I fall asleep pretty
but
fast.
it's still like it messes with your like mental cycle. If you
Uh,
don't have like the night mode or the blue light blocking glasses, it can really mess up the internal.
So we think less screens at night,
100%.
but my whole life is screens.
Yeah, same.
Literally like 2, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7 screens in this, 8 screens in this room right now.
Yep.
Wow.
Reducing as many screens as possible will help, and just like quieting your mind and settling down. Reading instead of like 30 minutes of reading instead of 30 minutes of scrolling. I know you don't scroll, but like of doing anything on a screen will probably prime your brain to sleep and to like, oh, we're winding down now. Like
Okay.
lamps versus bright
But is that
lights.
gonna help me wake up not feeling like shit?
It should, because ideally it should increase the quality of your sleep. You'll have better sleep so that you'll wake up well rested versus waking up like, because you could have a lot of sleep, but if it's not good quality sleep, you're not going to feel well
But
rested.
it's not like I'm waking up throughout the night. Not at all.
It's not even that. It's not even waking up. It's like you and I could both have 8 hours, but if your quality sleep is less than mine, I'll wake up being like, yeah, I feel great. You'll be like, I feel like I didn't even sleep at all.
So the only way to tell is the after effect. It's not during the sleep. It's afterwards when I
You
feel
can't
like
really change it during. You have to. It's how you feel the next day and over the week.
Someone said iron. Someone said I could be low in iron.
It could be.
I don't have fish.
Realistically, it's everything. It's nutrition, it's sleep, it's your habits, it's how much energy did you expend throughout the day, so that when you go to bed at night, it's like you're not like bodily restless. Like
not like that either.
tension.
Like literally, I lay in bed and I'll sleep in 20 minutes, 15.
Same, but I still have times when I don't get good quality sleep.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do?
I'm telling you, man, quality sleep is different from quantity, and it makes a big for me personally. It's the biggest difference. I could not eat for like 2 days, and as long as I sleep well enough, I'll be like pretty much okay. Or like very low food. If I sleep, I will be better than lots of food and no sleep.
Better than. So, iron pills. Read before bed. Less screens
and less bright lights. Like more lamps. Like that lamp.
I have that lamp on all the time.
Perfect. Like whatever cozy vibes you can do. Like
but I have that lamp on all the time. Like even at like 3 p.m. It's like just that lamp on. Maybe that's bad because it's always stimulating night.
There's also things about waking up and getting outside to have the blue light from the sun and the sky.
Pew, 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 pew,
pew, pew, into your eyeballs. That'll help set your bedtime as well. About 16 hours later, I believe.
But it's so shitty out there. So you want me to wait?
It doesn't matter. Even if it's overcast, it's better than you standing in front of a window.
It's
better than you standing in front of a window.
So don't just open the windows. Run out there.
Open the windows if you're not going to run out there. Ideally, go out there.
How about just
get some light for literally like a minute? We'll change.
And then back in my basement. It's mush brain again.
Open the door.
Seriously.
But there's a lot of little hacks that'll help you get to the root of the problem, which could be quality sleep. It's probably nutrition. It's everything.
You say I'm eating bad?
No, I'm just saying like it's going to be everything.
How about water?
You should be well hydrated for general health. Yeah.
How about for my sleep?
I would be well hydrated. Yeah. I've been putting like a good amount of Himalayan pink sea salt in my water to help retain it better.
Ooh.
Yeah, more electrolytes. I'm not going to the bathroom as much.
Why?
Because you have the salt to help retain the water.
Nice.
So my body's carrying more water.
Look at you. I can see it in your face. But how do I go to bed earlier?
Okay, why don't you?
Because right now my average is like 2.
Why don't you describe to me your nights from 11 to 2?
You don't want to hear my nights at 11 till 2.
Fine, from 10 to 2.
You don't want to hear any of that. Just screens all night long.
Okay, so
either my laptop or gaming or videos.
Why don't you try this? Not even an hour. 30 minutes before it's bedtime, no screen. Like literally tell everyone good night that you're texting, turn on your alarm, turn your phone to do not disturb.
No one's texting me back at 3 a.m. Literally just me.
And just read. Or maybe not piano because that's quite more mentally stimulating. But
yeah, I did that once recently. Like 2 weeks
you
ago.
were wired. Yeah,
wired. I got in bed and I was just like, piano.
I would try reading. With like not candlelight, but
like my lamp.
This
I have the exact same one, smaller.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been reading to bed for the last 2 weeks. It puts me right out.
This guy opens the book. 1 fish, 2 fish.
Sometimes it takes a little longer, but I'll feel it. I'll feel tired sooner, and it'll feel more natural than just like I'm just laying here waiting.
I hate that feeling, yo. Yeah. That feeling's the worst.
I would start with like 30 minutes, something really chill, and then turn it up to an hour if you like it.
But then that's 30 minutes to an hour that I could have been doing something else. Like,
Well, aim to get all that done during the daytime, or be okay with like, okay, I didn't get it done, but I need to have good quality sleep.
yeah, that's probably what I need to change my mindset too.
Yeah. I don't get everything done every day, and so I go to bed like, oh, like I'm just pushing my to-do list to tomorrow, but I would rather have better quality sleep. But that's only because I know that when I have shit sleep, I feel terrible. I'm
Yeah,
mad
yeah.
at myself the next
I
day.
feel
Fuck.
mushy.
Yeah, and I hate that so much. So and it's not perfect. There's sometimes I'm on my screen right before bed or whatever. Like it is what it is. Life is life. Like just enjoy yourself. But
Okay.
it might help if you've been feeling mushy a lot lately. I would say less screen time and like go outside a little more.
Less screen time, more me time.
Yeah.
Go outside more. When the
Morning.
summer comes, holy, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be outside.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm like, oh, I don't think I left the house yet.
There are some days I don't leave the house.
I haven't left the house. I didn't leave the house yesterday either.
It's also different. You're in the basement. I'm in like the second floor. I have a
Yeah.
little more light. My room is dark though. My room's like this bright.
That's nice.
It's cozy, but it's not like.
Did you go and do anything yesterday? What'd you do yesterday?
I ran one errand, and then I went for the walk at night. So I was outside and I was doing things.
Oh, I got
I
eye
worked out.
drops.
I worked out. That's
Oh,
what I
nice.
did too.
I did that 2 days ago. I'm gonna do this today too. I got eye drops recently.
For
My
what?
eyes are fucking so dry too.
Oh, do you need a humidifier?
I got a dehumidifier right there.
Oh,
In the winter, I guess it's drier, but in the summer, it's so damp down here.
true.
My eyes are fucked, especially when I'm in the car. Holy, my eyes are so bad. I'm becoming mush.
You could have like a pot of water beside your bed. I think that helps.
What?
Just water.
Water?
Sitting water
Why?
beside your bed. It'll just evaporate over time and just put water vapor into the air. Slowly. It's not like, wow, it's so humid in here. It's very minor, but could help.
Okay.
I come back, you have like pots of water everywhere. It's like a maze. I'm like trying to step through.
Okay, yeah, I'll give those some a try. I'll make the decision to get better sleep.
Sure.
That's it, everybody. See you
Okay,
guys.
cool.
Next
Yeah,
time.
that was. I feel like that was intense. I feel like I was trying to really push through and just be like, what's the next one? What's the next tip?
Yeah, because that's what we did for the passion one, which was lit.
Passion, I felt like was a little more better structured in terms of what we talked about. I personally feel that.
I think I'm just mush brain.
Fair enough. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you make decisions.
I hope your brain is not mush.
Hope your brain is not much. Get the good sleep. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
No, that was good.
That was really fast.
fast episode.
Yeah.
52 minutes, bruv.
I know, but like we were just the last 20 minutes was just us like random.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.